And we're rolling.
Oh, we're live.
We're live. Time to fade in
Late notification.
Chris. Time to fade in Charlie. Time to fade out music. Was it you that I was saying French fries, French bread, French
No.
dressing? No?
You've said that to me before, but not recently.
Okay. Yeah.
French fries. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a total B movie. It's Mike Cusack, and he's maybe 18 years old. It's called Better Off
Is it
Dead.
Cusack? I thought
Isn't
it was
it?
Cusack.
Cusack? Either one. Either or. I'm fine with
It's a
either.
difference. It's okay.
Have you
I'll
seen
let
the
it
movie
slide.
Grosse Point Blank?
That's been on my list just because of Grosse Point, but
That
no
is
other
a
reason.
That is a
I've never seen
very entertaining movie. That one's worth
I'll watch
watching.
it tonight. Fuck.
That one's timeless. That one's good. Better Off
It's
Dead
about
is
vampires or some shit? What?
no. He returns. He's like a former special ops guy. He disappeared on his girlfriend from high school to go into the military and comes back for his like 5 or 10 year reunion. And it's amusing. It's good. So
Nice. All right. I'll check it out.
so the play is point blank. It's like gunshot. Gross point blank.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Wait, when you said what you thought it was about, it made me think you weren't catching on.
I don't know. I thought I'd like have read the I thought it was about some nefarious, like some shit comes to town and like he's got to take care of it, and then obviously point blank, but
That's
I don't know. Whatever.
that's kind of accurate. There's I guess a plot and a subplot, but they're both pretty major parts. One's not necessarily subordinate to the other. Anyway, it's a good movie.
Hey, what's today's date? Yeah.
It is May 10th. How'd I do, man? That's pretty quick for me.
What? May 10th. That was good. No, that's awesome.
Is that
That wasn't bad.
significant? Is it your birthday
No,
or
it's
something?
no significance whatsoever. I'm just waiting for you to catch on that we never did an intro.
Oh my gosh. Hey, what do you know? I got into movie talk. You know what? It's May 10th.
It's all right. We just dove right in.
I'm Chris,
I'm Charlie.
and we've been.
And we are. Oh, yeah, we have been eight balling. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
At least I
It's your
got the
question,
verbs
by
right.
the way, this week. Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to
have
do it
been
now
eight
or
balling.
later?
Yeah. It's your call. It's you're driving it.
Let's wait. All right. So
Okay.
clue me in. In terms of other than I've had an appetite for. It's so bad, man. MSNBC is just so out there. They've just like lost any
MSDNC.
interest in reporting the news. It's just all anti-Trump. It's so bad. It's so bad. They're gone, man.
I am loving the new thing that is going after Democrats. Have you seen that?
No, is that catching on?
Yeah. Well, at least they're going after Biden at the very least. There was an interview with Jake Tapper and Gretchen Whitmer. Malice covered all this stuff. It was pretty interesting. But and then, God,
Gretchen
was
Whitmer
like
had
3 or
something
4
bad to
different
say
interviews.
about Biden.
no, Jake Tapper had something bad to say about to Joe Biden to Gretchen Whitmer. He tried to like draw it out from her, and she's like, "I'm not talking about this. I don't want to talk about it." Yeah, she's like, "I'm so sick of when people bring sex assault victims into these problems because I don't want to talk about it." So they had an interview. Basically, he just asked her, "Hey, what do you think about this?" It's interesting to me that you guys, didn't go after or you went after Kavanaugh, but now you're, letting this whole thing slide with Tara Reid.
You
Fair
know,
question.
somebody who writes for Stephen Colbert, and they played it on YouTube, and I forget who was talking about it. It might have been Malice. Said after it, she goes, "Well, we didn't get him, but at least we wrecked his life."
Oh, that's so fucked up. God.
Can you believe that?
Yes, that's horrible.
That is not a liberal thing. That's
And then it's also
that's a radical left thing. That's awful.
yeah, and then it's also like you didn't get the guy, you know?
But at least we wrecked his life.
It would make more sense. Yeah, it would make more sense if you like actually, you're like, oh, we didn't wreck his life, but we got him, That makes more sense to me.
You know, I don't know if it's tasteful, but I think I know exactly what happened in that room. I think I know exactly
Which
what
room?
happened.
The Tara Reid room?
No, the Kavanaugh incident.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to hear it?
You want to share with the class? Yeah, I was going to say.
Do you have a note there? Is there something you would like to read to the entire class? Sure, why not? I think
Get my,
that he indeed was in a room with her, whether he was with his buddy or not, is kind of irrelevant. I think that they were on the bed together voluntarily. I think he was on top of her and he like started kissing her, and maybe she started kissing back, and I think he just like kind of started getting all worked up like a high school guy who's got a shitload of beer in him. And I think she started getting kind of scared. And I think she like freaked out. And I think it freaked him out. And I think he was like, shut up. Like, I don't think anything bad happened, but I think she was terrified. And he was like, shut up. Like, what are you doing? There's nothing going wrong here. And he's freaking out because he's thinking, all right, this is going to get misinterpreted. And he's like, just shut up. You're trying to shut her up and calm her down. And she's got some guy who was just on top of her screaming, shut up. And now she's misinterpreting. And the whole thing's escalating for both of them. And then she just like, runs out of the door and runs away. And it makes perfect sense for her lack of recollection of anything, because while nothing truly bad happened other than her being really, really scared and misinterpreting a guy who's also really, really scared and just trying to diffuse it, that's what I think happened. I can so totally see that. I can see that happening with friends of mine, where you just start aggressively kissing, and the girl's like, whoa, whoa, and you think it's devolving into something, and maybe it is and maybe it's not, and you freak, and everybody freaks, and 30, 40 years later, nobody really remembers what happened, but it's a whole lot of nothing other than a couple of people being really scared.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to say I've never had like an incident like that. Thank God, knock on wood. It's because I've been celibate for my entire life. No, I never had anything like that, but I can see that happening. Some weird shit going on.
I mean, it explains
like
both stories
High school
perfectly.
angst. Yeah.
It explains both stories perfectly. Because she's like, she doesn't remember so much. And I feel sorry for that woman. In the beginning, she's like, I don't want to do this. She got so
Yeah, she didn't want it, right?
arm twisted into doing this. Whatever.
She's right. She got like outed. It was like,
And you want to know something? I think
she.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say she didn't want to do it. Someone leaked that letter. She wrote that letter anonymously, I guess, right? And then it was like they rooted her out. And then after the shit was all said and done, no one ever brought up anything about it ever again. So, until now, this very moment,
Until this very moment, right? We are live to the whole wide world, rekindling this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Year and a half later.
You're welcome, Christine. Is it Blasey Ford? Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say? Grosse Point Blank.
Grosse Point Blank. Watch it. Good movie. Yeah, you know what? So this PowerPoint I've been working on bits and pieces, and it's been looming over me. And it's done. There's 2 of them, and they're done. Yay, done.
I have a ton
So
of shit to do. Today.
this is just like a huge thing off my shoulder. So I'm in a very good mood.
Nice. I had a weird night. I like worked yesterday for like 7 hours in the morning, and then I like went to bed, planned, like I was gonna like take a nap, but I slept from what ended up being from 5 o'clock until midnight. So I woke up at like 12:10, and then I was like up all night, and then I went to bed at 7 a.m. and then woke up at 10, and I've been like, now I'm like back on track. But it was a really weird sleep cycle.
Yeah, I've gotten into those sleep cycles, and it's dangerous because it's hard to get out of them because you're so tired in the day
yeah,
you gotta sleep, and
Yeah.
then you're up at night. Yeah,
And
I
it's
didn't.
like, oh god, 7, 8. Yeah. It was weird.
There's-
It was like my day was chunked out by 2 separate sleep hours, but whatever.
Whatever. So what else is going on? What other current events? Enlighten me.
You know,
The Biden thing with Rachel Maddow was, or not Rachel Maddow, with Mika was. I just went to the 5 minutes. You said go to the last 5 minutes. Wow, that guy
Yeah,
was
you
a
watched that.
deer in the headlights. Wow.
You are fucking. Like either you or me would have done better in that line of questioning. For the folks at home, do you want to give a brief synopsis? More or less.
You saw the whole
Mika was just
thing.
asking him.
Do
Yeah.
soup to nuts, because when you sent me that text, I just went to the last 5 minutes.
So, Biden apparently has some personnel files, or even I don't even know how you describe that kind of a document, or that group of documents. I guess it was information from the previous administration, and then also from his other work. I guess his other times in office. Documents, public record, so quote unquote public records, personnel files, just things of note, right? In regards to his service. Now those things are locked up somewhere. I don't know if it was the Library of Congress, and there's also some at the University of Delaware, I guess. So they were supposed to be released to the public, and I forget. I apologize. I don't know the dates.
So these like
documents
are these like the equivalent
Yeah.
of like depositions, kind of informal depositions, or
I don't
like
think
an
they're
incident,
depositions. I think
or
it's
like
just.
inquiry or something like that?
And but I think that is just part of it. So I think it's included. That's just included in the massive docs. So there's like a bunch of other stuff that's in there, but among those things, personnel files are also in there. Jesus Christ, I have to do this. Hang on. That feels better.
Well,
So in those documents, there's also personnel files, and he's saying, Mika was saying, these files were supposed to be released to the public, and now they've been locked to a further date, potentially when you're going to be, out of the public eye. She's like, what happened, and why did those get resealed, and would you consent or allow for there to be a search specifically for the name Tara Reid in those files? And he's like, I don't get it. I don't understand your point.
that
Like,
part was
dude,
in the
it,
last
was
5 minutes.
fucking
Some university search or something like that.
University of Delaware, yeah, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know what that
and
is.
he's like, "What are you going to search?" And she's like, "Well, your
the
names."
name Tara Reid.
Yeah, that was.
And then he asks,
I. Go ahead.
fucking guy. I was gonna say he asks, who would do this? Who would do it? Like, I don't understand. He like was trying to find every single like objection he could. He's like, who would even do such a thing? Who would do such a search? Malice had a fucking awesome way of explaining it, but I'll let you say what you're gonna say first.
Oh, it was what really, really surprised me is, what was that, 20 minutes long maybe? 20, 30 minutes
40,
long?
yeah.
40. So when I saw the timer and that it was 40 minutes long and I watched the last, it might have been 10 minutes, whatever you said to watch, that she was, he's on her team. And
Yeah,
she,
yeah, right.
and she was going after him, which really surprised me. It was it kind of pissed me off that I had to give her some a little cred for actually like being a journalist.
Yeah, the it was good, and it's happening over and over again. So that was with Jake Tapper, and then half Whitmer, and then I'm trying to think. God, there's some other chick, black lady from Georgia, I think it is. She minority house leader.
Oh, she's
Forget her name.
clueless.
Also in the running for.
That lady's clueless, man.
I think she just does a good job branding herself, but I think she's done nothing of note.
She just didn't
So
seem.
she's not really
I'm just
qualified?
talking like intellectually. She just didn't seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer.
She's totally dodging bullets. So like at the very minimum, like there's that going for her. She's got it worked out to a point where she knows what to say to avoid that kind of conflict.
Oh, really?
Especially when they brought up this Tara. Oh hell yeah, yeah. So they like brought up the Tara Reid shit, and she was like smiling. She's like this. She's like, yeah. So about that, it was like smile gone, and then she started going into this, not bait and switch, but like she did what Biden should have done, the old political runaround with that question.
Yeah, just spin.
That like Biden couldn't
Just answer it a different
he
way.
couldn't have fucking done it. We call that in sales. You call that taking the bait. So you're like instead of just like pivoting off something else, you just like focus on the question and you're like, what is the problem with this? I don't understand it. And it could have been like, there's nothing to do with the files, okay? Now the real thing is I have no past history of that. And then it would have been like something else, right? You've changed the topic now, but he just completely failed at it. He just fucking bit right into it and then wouldn't let it go. And it was like she just kept, and it was like moments of awkward silence and then weird. That dude has lost his fucking edge. And if you're a Democrat, he's your candidate, try to find somebody else. That's all I can say. That guy's fucking up.
Yeah, this fall is going to be really, really, really interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I was cracking out a little bit on. I was trying to see if I could kill coronavirus in the oven. I want to order a pizza, and I'm thinking if I throw the box in the oven, I can just throw the box in the oven, wash my hands, and then not worry about anything, and just eat my pizza.
Yeah.
And I found, where was I going with this? Oh, a lot of what I found was like warm weather and how that affects the virus. And that this may,
Sunshine, I was going to say. Yeah.
sunshine and heat, they said that, the difference between like 75 and 85 is really significant in the like transmissibility of the disease. Anyway,
Yeah.
so if this thing becomes seasonal and, there's a mild second wave or any sort of second wave maybe holds off until after the election, that would be really interesting versus like a really strong. If there's a strong second wave before the election, people are just going to be pissed and they're just going to vote for change.
That's a good point. You're gonna be like, fuck this guy. This guy can't figure it out. And then he'll be like, you are the people who told me that you were sick and tired of this shit and you're protesting and being fucking crying little babies. So I let you do whatever you wanted. I let your governors take over. I don't know what that's gonna look like. But yeah, I heard sunshine and heat. You're right. Yeah, like down south, they're not getting much of it. California is nice and sunny. That's low, right?
They're starting to catch up.
Shit.
They're like top 6 or 7 now. Well, I mean,
That's
it's
scary.
cities, especially cities with big, poor neighborhoods, which LA, New York, right? Huge. Just
So here's, yeah.
people who are stacked on top of each other, like 10 people living in a house or housing projects or, even apartments that are small. And again, 2, 3, 4 people living in a place. Those are just poor communities are going to get hit hard. Poor urban communities.
So here's a thought. Maybe it's even spreading faster out there. And then with the combination of sunshine and shit like that, it's just slowing down. That's a stupid theory. I don't know.
Who knows?
Kind of makes sense. Not me,
Well,
that's for
just
sure. Folks,
everything I
don't
read
listen
is-
to Charlie for your.
Yeah. Everything I read is it does not like heat. Like starting at getting above 80 degrees.
I talked to a guy who's working at Fort Detrick on a cure. They're trying to like, I say weaponize, a cure, but like mass produce some sort of effective disinfectant or whatever the hell. And the guy was talking, he's like, that shit that Trump mentioned about like a disinfectant, like UV cleansing. He's like, we're actually working on that. He's like, that's a real thing. He wasn't bullshitting.
Yeah, but you don't
I was
drink
like, I'm
Clorox or.
No, but he didn't. I think he used that term disinfectant colloquially, as like a. Or no,
Hey, no,
sorry.
but
they were
Trump-
interpreting
Trump
his
didn't,
usage of
though.
that term.
I
I'm saying they're interpreting his usage of that term as a colloquialism when in,
no
in
fucking
reality
way
he's
is
using
Trump
it in a literal
is
sense.
Trump that smart. Well, maybe
To differentiate
whatever.
between the two. He's not smart. He has other people telling him this shit. He's like, yeah, it's kind of like a fucking disinfectant, whatever. It's like sterilize the
Well,
shit.
then
He's like, oh yeah,
then he goes off the
Clorox, yeah.
rails, and right. He's literally thinking of take a shot of Clorox or whatever.
But he didn't actually say that. So that's the, is the difference. But now we're getting the thing mixed up. So
That's fair.
I don't
That's fair. But the way he said it, though, clearly suggested he was thinking of ingesting some common household germ
know.
killer.
Poor guy.
That's
Okay, I can see
poor
that.
guy. I never thought I'd hear you say anything like that. Poor guy. He is a poor guy. Him and Biden, man. They're both.
Those two fucking
They're our.
idiots.
Those are our choices. Fucking. I think you're seeing a little bit of a side of Trump that maybe you were having a hard time seeing, a year ago.
Because to me, it's just like he's fumbling this a little bit.
But I think people who thought maybe like he's just this evil genius hiding behind this kind of goofy persona are realizing maybe he's just not this, evil, unbelievably brilliant evil sorcerer,
Here's my point.
But where I was going with this is, I think the same with Trump as I thought the first day he was in office, which he's a buffoon. I thought he was a buffoon. I couldn't watch The Apprentice. You're fired. I'm like, this guy's a fucking moron. Anyway, so where my head's at right now.
You're fired.
So Biden, when did you send me that text? Is this within the past week, right?
Yeah, it was on Tuesday or Thursday.
So
Tuesday,
Biden has lost it. And if Trump gets reelected, who knows? I mean, then he has nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. I think he has the presence of mind to realize that if I fuck up too huge or go off the reservation too far, I will jeopardize getting reelected, if that's what I choose to do. So with that presence of mind, what the fuck might we get in a second term? And then if Biden gets elected,
Hopefully, yeah.
hopefully that's not the case. Yeah, I agree. And then if Biden gets elected, oh my gosh, fuck, the guy might have to be removed from office from incompetence.
He'll
Or
die.
for-
Wait, I
for
told you my whole
incompetence.
theory, right?
Well, I'm not sure.
The theory on he could just like be like not Manchurian candidate, but like that kind of situation where he just like picks a running mate who's someone who they really want to be president, and he just like kill himself in office or something,
If you didn't say that,
or inevitably die for.
you surmised it. But yeah, because I said, then I hope he doesn't pick Gretchen Whitmer because I think she is just clueless. She's
stupid.
clueless. Do you agree?
I talk to people all over the country, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in Detroit. They're like, oh, you poor bastard, you're fucking dealing with Gretchen Whitmer, and I'm like, is she that bad? Like, I don't even notice it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, she's
So-
awful. And you said you weren't paying attention to the gubernatorial fix the damn roads. I'm like, okay, anybody but this
That
woman
shit is-
has got to be governor. Fix the damn roads. I just like stop. Nails on a chalkboard.
I just saw. She wasn't the first female governor of Michigan, though, right?
no.
So why
there
did
was
she end up getting?
there was
What's her name? Governor Granholm, right?
yeah, Jennifer Granholm. Not a fan, but
Yeah.
smart person. Like you know
So
who's
why-
fucking brilliant.
yeah.
Not a fan, but she's brilliant. Is Rachel Maddow. That is one smart person. But I hate her show, and she's got such a shtick. She kind of talks out the side of her
Did you
mouth.
watch when
and-
she cried? When Trump got
No, what
elected?
she cried? She did.
She's like crying. Shit's going on. It's live on air, and she's like getting all worked up. She's like, "This is us now. This is our world. This is our reality. You're not in some horrible dream, and you're not gonna wake up tomorrow, and it's not gonna have happened." She's like, "This is reality," and like she had like a mental breakdown. Well, that's an extension, but
People
she
like
had
her
a,
helped. People like her helped, man. They just got
Yeah, of
fucking.
course.
They got Joe Average all fucking pissed off, and they've just voted change, and they didn't give a fuck what it was.
Wow, that's a new one. Joe Average. I feel
What?
like Joe Sixpack is common.
Joe Sixpack,
Never
Joe
heard
Average, whatever.
before.
But that's what happened. They're like, we're not, you know.
220.
They voted for Drain the Swamp. They totally voted for Drain the Swamp.
Yeah, and that if you're one of those people, you definitely helped that happen. But
Right. Right.
yeah, okay. So a couple things. Wait, go back to Trump. Okay, so on Trump, his situation, he's not a medical authority. So like everything in the past where it's like political shit, he's been the authority because he's the president. And like as long as he acts presidential. Let me retract that. Hang on, let me bring that back.
That's okay. I know where you're
As
going.
long as he can present it in that manner, he can be the authority. But in this, it's serious. First of all, right? It's not like, oh yeah, they're dying in Africa, Ebola, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. No, it's like this is in our fucking country. Like, this is a huge problem. People, more people dead than the Vietnam War. And he doesn't know anything about medicine. He's a businessman from New York. He doesn't know shit. He's a salesman from New York. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And I think that if people have to explain that shit to him, it's first of all coming from somebody else who we didn't elect, right? It's not like him, whatever. It's not like his guy. And then, what is it, Fauci mostly, probably? And then that guy's actually pretty even keel. I don't mind him at all. But when Trump tries to explain the medicine stuff, it's just like out of his league. Like, just stop, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're going to
for
ruin yourself. Have someone else explain that shit.
For sure.
Yeah. So I don't think that he's not fumbling it because he's an imbecile. Like, he's expected to be that
Oh.
level of.
I think
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's all the above. I think it's all the above.
I think his mistake, his error, is assuming that he can try to explain it to the American people when he should just delegate that responsibility to somebody else.
But
who knows
he
what's going on.
he
be
has
like,
done and does
don't
that
know.
and will do that with everything. He thinks he's brilliant. You remember, he goes, "I really get this stuff." Do you remember that? And he's
Wait, what?
around a
With-
bunch of
with
doctors,
medicine?
and he's like looking around, like looking at them like they're gonna be like, "Yeah, you're fucking nailing this." In fact, why don't you come
Okay,
to
that's-
work and be a PhD researcher? Do you remember that? It was about a month ago.
Okay, that's a mistake. I don't remember seeing that, but that's a mistake.
Oh my
You shouldn't
God.
have said that. But that's his character,
Absolutely.
right? I am an absolute professional at this. I could have gone this route, but my father preferred that I go into the business, so I did that. No,
Yeah,
it's
that's like the undertone of almost everything he talks about. Have you ever heard that people say he absolutely despises subject matter experts?
I've never heard that.
I have heard that when there are people, in the Oval Office in particular, but wherever, that know shitloads about something he might know something or nothing at all about, it's very frustrating because he needs to feel like he's the smartest guy in the room.
Well,
Which would explain why he's
a
fired so
BSer.
many people.
Yeah.
He just gets sick of opinions, right? He doesn't want an opinion. And it makes
Jeez.
sense because I think the way he's been successful in business is he just goes around, makes big decisions, and then he has people under him, and he just says, just fucking make it happen. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's.
I mean,
I mean, that's not a good. I wouldn't say that's a good boss. That's a good president, probably. You know, like, I don't care. It's not my job to figure this shit out. It's my job to tell you to do it. Fucking do it.
yeah, but the thing is,
You probably quit under that guy.
any good leader, even in business, depending. Like he's in construction, and there needs to be some level of slime to be successful in construction. But if you're in a true position of leadership and you are running, a machine that has a lot of moving parts, you want to surround yourself with the smartest fucking people you can. You want people around you who are smarter than you so you can make the best decisions you can. The smarter and the more smart people you have, the better off you are. And you fucking listen to them and you make good decisions as a team. And he does not like doing that. He does not like doing that.
Okay, here's there's like, I think there's the way that he delegates responsibility, and then there's the way that he explains that to the American people, as well as the way that he explains the outcome to the American people. So it's like there's one thing going on over here, which is like the reality of him being president, and then it's like him just being him, talking to us on fucking Twitter or on whatever it is, right? Tweeting out, Facebook, fucking all that, which just like is such a holdback because he's very frequently immature and childish. But I still have yet to hear this. How did he fuck up the situation that we're in now? Everyone always says that this is his fault that we're fucked up wrong here. What did he do?
I think I brought this up last week, and you know the guy's name. I'm so off with names. The one-eyed congressman from Texas, the Navy
Dan
SEAL
Crenshaw.
guy. Yeah, he was on Dave Rubin in the past week.
Look good with an eye patch.
And he you don't want to get it the way that guy got it. He has laid out the timeline, and there's such hypocrisy with everybody who blames him. And here's the thing. Whether that guy made good calls or bad calls, there's this germ that originated halfway around the world, and he had nothing to fucking do with it. And again, I'm not a fan of the guy. That having been said,
Yeah.
Did he handle it perfectly? No. Does anybody handle anything perfectly? No. Is hindsight always the better perspective? Of course it is. Always.
Always, yeah.
It can't not be.
Wow, we really should have closed the borders down like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't
Right.
he, if I remember, did he not get a bunch of shit for the limiting or ending the flights from China? Like, what are you doing? Whatever. There's just Dan Crenshaw. Isn't that the guy's name?
You're not
Dan
asking for
Crenshaw?
enough money. Yeah, Crenshaw.
Yeah, so he
Just think of
so
like Nazi.
he can't lose for winning or can't win for losing, whatever the saying is. And again, not a fan, but it's a disease. The guy had nothing to do with it. And fucking PPE and ventilators and all that. So here's one thing that was shared with me, and Crenshaw brought it up. He said, private healthcare, we have more ventilators per capita than any country in the world. That's what he said. I have no reason not to believe the guy. But in terms of not being prepared with regard to like physical supplies and/or let's just leave it at physical supplies. One, if you want to blame a president, fucking blame Obama. And I hate this game. But, SARS came out SARS and MERS were the harbingers for this. And it's not even a president. The fucking CDC is responsible for this shit. They're responsible for making this
Why do you say
stuff
that?
happen. Because they're the ones that say there is a statistical likelihood of another virus and in this time frame. And that having been said, it could, a world ender could be tomorrow. And you need to be fucking
Just
prepared.
keeping that in mind.
That's why they exist. The WHO and the CDC and the NIH and all The people who live literally to deal with shit like this, if we're underprepared, who do you blame? The people who do it for a living. And those are not presidents.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, correct.
I didn't want to devolve into coronavirus land, but anyway.
No,
I was
think
having
you're
more
totally right about
fun.
that, and I read, and we won't even go into.
I was having
Talking
more
about Trump.
fun with the Biden Trump stuff. The funny.
He's
oh
just
my God.
okay. Let's go back to Biden then, because that's gonna. Well, we've talked about that like most of the last shows. I'm trying to think of.
I don't.
Kind of beating
Yeah,
it to
but
death.
this is the first time we've been laughing like this in a long time.
He's just utterly insane. Okay, wait. Let me go explain why. I've just been writing down the things that I wanted to say. So the Malice explained it so perfectly well. Like his objection to Mika being like, "Will you consent to just a search of her name?" And his reasoning was, "You're gonna look in these files and you're gonna get all this stuff out of context that I've had with other foreign powers and previous administrations, and all this stuff is gonna come out of context. And I don't want you to see that when I'm in an election cycle." And it's like, okay, what if we promise only to look for stuff that literally has her name on it? Tara Reid, that's it. Just her name.
She
Like if there's
said
a
that?
complaint, like she filed a complaint. Yeah, she said just a search for the name. And I think he's fucking old. Like, I don't know if he can understand that. Like word search. Like you just control F, Biden.
Or
that's
he
how works,
understood it
control F.
perfectly.
Well, right, or that. And then either way, he was like, who would even do such a thing? How about Microsoft Word would fucking do it, or Chrome, Google Chrome, Doc Viewer. So
That's
he
what I
says
say.
that,
Or
and then
he
says,
understood it perfectly, and he's like, if they do that, I'm fucking
Right.
dead.
And he's like, oh shit. She's like, that's a great point. You can totally do that. So Malice explained it hilariously. He goes, that's like let's just say that you're the nominee, right? You're the presidential nominee, and the FBI comes to your house and says, hey, we think there's a corpse in your house. Can we come in and find just check for a corpse? And then he's like, no, there's no corpse. You don't need to come and look. There's no corpse at all. It's fine. And they go, no, we understand there's no corpse, but we just want to make sure there isn't one. Is it okay if we come in and look? And he says, I don't want you to come in and look because you might find other stuff like drugs or weapons paraphernalia. Weapons or drug paraphernalia. Thanks, Charlie. And they're like, we don't even care. We won't even, if we find drugs, whatever, it's fine. We don't even give a shit. We just
Yeah, we'll
want to
put
find
it in
a corpse.
writing. Yeah.
And, yeah. They're like, it'll be fine. And he's like, who would even do such a thing? So they're telling you that you're absolved from the corpse, and he's like, no, I don't know why you have to do the search. I know there isn't a corpse in there. I'm telling you, I know there isn't one. And it's like, you fucking idiot. That is such a terrible excuse. That's horrible. They're saying, oh shit, well yeah, in that case, I don't care. Go ahead. There's no
Right. If you know
tons
there's
of
nothing,
coke.
if you're so fucking sure
Yeah.
there's nothing there, why would you care?
Be like,
Right.
bro,
We'll
I can't
redact
technically
everything.
tell you this. I was in
everything else.
Right. Yeah. You're like, dude, I can't even say this, but I was in Biden's house. There was no dead body in there, but that dude loves whores or cocaine or whatever. It's like, that shit. That's what he's expecting to happen. But I don't know. It's just like it doesn't have an edge.
He does
not
have a
even
point
lost its
though.
edge, it's just,
He does have a point. It
Sure.
would be so like the press to go looking for that and find something else, and then just totally.
you don't have the press do it.
Well, yeah, that.
Some seedy journalist. No, fuck that.
You know,
have
remember when?
government
You made me think of something, and it could certain things. I'd be a great campaign advisor. When Romney didn't want to release, this might have been before you were paying attention. When Romney did not want to release his tax returns, and
When was this?
like fucking 8 years ago,
2007.
I want to say.
2012.
Could be. Whatever. 2 or 3 elections ago. And
So 2011 or 2007. Got it.
yeah, I think it was 2011. It wouldn't have been 2007. 2011. Because I remember listening to this and where I was and what time that would have been. Anyway. So he was worried about, he said something along the lines of, they're like, why? Are you worried about what we're going to find? He said, yeah, I am. He said, because like if you go through my investments, he's like, if you have a 401k and you own mutual funds and you dig through those mutual funds, he's like, any mutual fund, you're going to have somebody in it who did business with somebody who did business with somebody who was really bad. It just,
Well, I was looking. Yeah, even
and,
me. I'm
and,
like,
and then you're going to take that
Yeah.
and you're going to totally twist it around and you're going to say, I'm investing, and if I have $1, $1 invested with somebody who sold arms to the Contras, then you're going to say, how bad I am. And I'm like, here's what you should do. Hire, like Deloitte and Touche, and just have them audit, because they wanted to see what he paid in taxes, what his tax rate was. And he didn't seem to be terribly concerned about that. He's like, I'm sure I'm paying less than everybody else. It's the way the laws are set up. They're highly, in favor of people who live off
Unfair.
investments. And right.
Yeah.
So hire Deloitte and Touche and have them go through and have them calculate your tax rate, and then also have them do an audit, and just, it's a yes or a no. Did this person break any laws in the particular year or years they audited? And I would be willing to bet, he probably didn't break any laws, but he's just nervous about people combing through shit, because you never know what they're going to find, and you can spin the shit out of anything. And, that's a lot of pieces of paper if you're a guy like him with that kind of money. So what do you, again, just hire Deloitte, figure out the rate, and did he break, what was the rate? Did he break any laws? Say, look, I'll hire a third-party firm that we can both agree on, and they'll figure out what the rate is, and they'll tell you whether or not I did anything criminal, and then we're done. And if he is a criminal,
Yeah, simple as that.
then there's a problem, right? And the rate's what the rate is. Did he break any
like,
laws?
Oh shit.
And if it turns out he paid 2% and he broke no laws, the answer is, hey, go after Congress. They write the tax laws.
Yeah, fix the fucking tax laws. Right. 2%. Like, I think what Bernie's tax rate was 13%. Like, that's pretty rough.
Well, that would suggest
like
that
itemized
he's living
deduction.
off investments. I thought he had no money.
He made $300K that year and paid a tax rate of 13%.
When did he make $300K?
Effective tax rate. Was that 2016, 2015 probably?
Senators make $170,000 a year. So okay, really? So that's another $130,000.
Yeah, you can look it up.
That's like that's not a 1%,
was from
but that's a
Russia.
5%. It was from Russia, right? Right. Energy investments in Eastern Europe.
Yeah. Wait. Backtrack. So the way that you just explained that about Romney, that is my favorite thing about the Elizabeth Warren shit, is because she, in effect, had Deloitte and what the fuck is it? What's one of those big five?
Deloitte and
right?
Touche.
So like she basically had them do the work up front, because she's like, let me find out if this is going to be bad, and then I can like choose whether or not to release it. And then it's like they told her, yes, they're going to find that you invested in Ukrainian oil or whatever the fuck, and then it'll be like, or Russian whatever, and then she's like,
that's the thing
look
about,
guys,
like
I
said,
fucking did it, and here's my thing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So she like she did it, got a bad answer up front, and was like, oh fucking thank God, I thought I was going to say that I invested like millions of dollars, but it was only $10, so it's fine.
Right, exactly.
So stupid. Because she thought I was going to say zero. Yeah. Oh my God, that was such a fucking fuck up. I
don't even
everything that's going on in the
remember that.
political landscape.
What happened with her? I don't remember that at all.
No, just the DNA testing for in Native American blood.
Right.
Yeah, DNA. And they're
That's
like,
still-
yeah, you're 0.06% Native American or something.
Yeah.
And she used it to get a job.
She wrote it on her bar card. She hand wrote it on her bar card.
Native American.
There's not even plausible deniability.
Elizabeth
She went
Warren.
down. That's fine. I'm happy.
She just fucking fell in line. She didn't go down. That was part of the plan. I
Well,
think. Bernie got fucked
Uh,
again this year. That's what happened.
Yeah, but she started trailing. She went from being either one or close to number one to like second, third, fourth. I mean, there was a regression there, and that made me so happy. She was just
Yeah, her being out of that is nice.
she might be a better option than Biden now. She would.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say don't say Trump.
Bernie would. I don't know who was the fourth? Biden, her, Bernie. Was Buttigieg? Who hung in there to the end? Doesn't matter.
I don't know,
Anyway.
there's Buttigieg. I would like to see Tulsi in there. She would fucking win it. She'd win the whole thing.
Yeah. It's weird. You know what? I like her, but there are people that
I like
she
her
just
too.
rubs the wrong way, and I don't get it
Democrats. they're called Democrats.
because
she's
she's not
anti-war too.
because she's
And
not
so
like
the media fucking hates her for that.
yeah, she's like a classic liberal. She's not leftist at all. I mean, she's an old-fashioned Democrat. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she's
could be on
kinda
board
cute.
with her. She's
And
very
she has
cute.
nice hair. Yeah. She's a little
She
white.
has nice hair. What are you trying to
that white
back out
thing
of
going
that?
on. What?
You're trying to back out of that?
What do you mean?
That she's cute? And she has nice
Oh,
hair?
you froze. No. Oh wait.
Aren't
we're
those
both
mutually inclusive?
No. I just meant I like her little. She has like a white stripe.
Really?
Yeah. You never seen that? It's like one strand, not a strand, but it's like a band, one white stripe on her hair. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a little freeze
good
here, I
look.
wonder. Is that why Malice is dyeing his hair a little bit?
Yes,
Didn't
that's why
didn't he
did it,
wear a
yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard outfit? Isn't that what when he dressed up
That's
like a
when he dyed his hair. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
I don't
doesn't
watch
he
Ruben,
still?
so I don't like.
You don't
yeah,
like him?
but he didn't. Fuck Ruben. That guy sucks. I think. No, Malice just did it that one time, and it's just lasting effect. So like you can see that root is growing out, but yeah,
So why
I don't
don't
like
I'm
Ruben
just
at all.
curious why don't you like Ruben?
he's kind
Was
of
he
a
too-
fucker, and
Was
he's
he
like
too
not
gay
smart.
for you?
Yeah, fuck. No, two of my best friends at work. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, no. Yeah, one of my closest friends is now gay black woman, which is funny. So
What was she a
anyway.
straight white man when you started?
yes, and now she changed. No, she's just one of the best people in my life. That's all. Anyway, the
No, just the way you
he
said
is
that.
very what a gay black woman.
Yeah, like
She used to be a straight white
and she
man.
wasn't before. What was she? Anyway, straight white man.
Anyway,
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, what the fuck was I saying? Ruben, I don't like him because he's a fucking ponce, first of all. And then on top of that, he's totally arrogant. And not undeservingly. So he's like got a sense of informed intent without being informed. So he doesn't really know what's going on. I feel like he shoots in the dark a lot, and then a lot of it is also about him, me. You know, it's like
Really?
manja,
I don't think
manja.
he's arrogant
It's
at
like-
all. I think he's humble.
I totally get the arrogance thing. Fuck
Really?
No. I get it's like they call it humble bragging these days. It's like if I were to tell you, oh, dude, my gas bill is so high. God, fucking my 6,000 square foot house. It's I can't handle the gas bill anymore. It's just killing me. And it's like, okay, fuck you. Shut up. It's like that kind of thing. You know?
Would the context of that be when they're in a conversation with a couple people who have 1,500 square foot flats and they're
Houses.
struggling with their $200
Yeah.
gas bill and he's struggling with his $2,000 gas bill? Yeah.
Yes,
What is it?
correct.
Humble
That's
wedding?
who he is. That's the kind of guy.
What did you
Humble
call it?
bragging.
Humble
Yeah.
bragging.
Humble bragging.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is that going to be a thing? Is that going to be something I'm going to be hearing?
No, it's old.
Okay.
That's old.
Humble bragging.
It was back when I was in my fraternity. Let's call it 7 years ago. That came to.
Interesting. I've never
Came
heard
out.
that term.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's a good one.
I guess I could see thinking that, but I think the guy is actually just a good guy. You know, it's kind of like Malice. I did not like him at first, but then when you watch him, he's a sincere guy and a good guy, and he's very consistent in his opinions, and he's smart.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But he's a good guy, and I think the anarchy thing is a little bit of a shtick.
I was just about to ask you that. You made me renounce my anarchism, and then I got. I shouldn't say you made me, but you like made me self-conscious of it because you made me rethink it. And then all it took was like 4 or 5 episodes of Dave Smith and Michael Malice, and I was like, I'm fucking back on that train, baby. Anarchy all the way.
Yeah, it can't work.
Bring it down.
It can't work. It can't.
I don't even. Whatever. I'm not equipped for this at this moment.
Okay.
I just,
We shouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
It's a dead end.
Yeah.
But I think it's a shtick, because if you listen to him, he loves capitalism. He fucking loves it. If you go back to his younger days, I've seen some of his stuff. I'm like,
capitalism
dude,
is anarchy.
I don't agree.
So you need a government for there to be anarchy? I'm sorry, you need a government for there to be capitalism.
No, you need a
It's
government.
required.
People won't. It's flawed.
I'm gonna send him an email and say, "Hey, you want to come on the show and explain things?" I think if he saw that, if he saw you saying that his thing is a shtick, he'd be like, "Fuck you." He'd be pissed. I'm almost confident of it.
Send him a link.
I'm positive. Hey, Mike, I love you, by the way. But and I know you don't like when strangers call you Mike, so I apologize.
No, I'm perfectly
I'm
fine with the
talking to
guy, but
Mike.
I seriously have suspicions that his position in anarchy is a shtick. Here's the problem. That guy spends, if not all, most of his time being learned on all this stuff, where I have like a couple hours a week, you know? And I
Yeah.
just don't have, I could never go toe to toe with any of those guys because I don't have time
either
to acquire, even, it's not that I don't have the capacity in terms of, being intellectual enough
Literal
or
brain
being quick
power.
enough on
Yeah.
my feet. I don't have time to have all the data
Right.
to formulate the
issue.
argument. And guess what? Him and Ben Shapiro and all these guys are totally fucking practiced in defending what they
Well,
stand
you're
for.
constantly immersed in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're practiced too. They sit back and think of every defense of every attack, and you just can't do it. It's like being on a debate team. Go up against a debate team unprepared. I don't have the time to
Well, that's
prepare.
that kind of fucks with my head every now and then. And I don't know if you probably don't have this at all because you understand the problem. But like for me, it's like because I have that same dichotomy where I'm like, am I bad at this or I just like, what's going on? Am I stupid? And it's like, no, I don't have fucking time to do that. I don't have the same amount of time to even
Yeah, I mean, think
that deep at all. Yeah,
Think if you and I did nothing but prepared for this show.
just for a week, let's say.
But it's all we did, directly and indirectly.
Yeah.
We read books.
Yeah.
We watched the news. We
wrote books.
These guys, again, Malice is smart and he's really, really, really informed, because that's what. Well, if you're smart, you're smart. Part of it is you just have the capacity, right? So he's a smart dude, but then he's fucking
that book.
read everything, right? And he pays total attention. When I watch him, he and some of his guests, like he had, who's that? He had some comedian a couple of weeks ago, dark-haired guy.
Dave Smith.
Yeah.
Jew.
So that guy's a stand-up.
Also
and
an
a lot of these stand-ups are like Rogan has some of his friends on that are just unbelievably informed. But that's part of how they make, stand-up is taking what's out there
Current.
and turning it into
Relevant.
funny stuff. So a lot of these guys, what they do is totally fucking pay attention. And a good stand-up who makes shitloads of money has all the time in the world to, pay attention, research again, read, do whatever, And before coronavirus, I'm working 40, 45 hours a week. Now I'm working fucking 50, 60 hours a week. And
See, you're getting the same effect, right?
in terms of
Let me ask. Are you working more because it's more accessible or because there's more to be done?
both, for me, there's way more to be done right now. Way more to be done
For me,
because
I found
I'm,
myself doing 13-hour days just on accident.
yeah, I mean, I had the week before last, my average day, I started answering emails at 6 and I was shutting down at 9, 10 at night. And my phone would ring over the weekend too.
Yeah, that's late.
Yeah, that's a long day. That's a
Yeah,
really long day.
Yeah.
And even
I had to
and
work
it's not like
yesterday.
you're digging ditches, but when you're having, it's just right. It's not tiring in that way,
Yeah.
but it's just mentally exhausting. And then I can't shut
fucking,
down.
That's the worst.
Yeah, and then I can't shut down, so I get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and then it's bad.
Well, you're experiencing what I've been experiencing since I've had this new job the whole time. It's always like that.
Well, that's awful.
Never get a chance.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
awful. That's not sustainable. What I'm doing now is not
No,
sustainable,
that's,
but there's an end in sight to the schedule.
Thanks for fucking letting me see the light. For me, it's just no. As soon as I go back to the office, things will be ready for rain.
It wasn't meant
Like-
to come out like, oh, dude, you're fucked
I know.
at all.
Yeah, yeah. You're like,
If that's the way,
you're like, wow,
if
shit.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that no.
Well, for me,
right.
it's gonna end soon, but
No,
for
I
you,
was
it's, you might as well
completely
just
in
eat
my
a
head.
bullet.
No. I would right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. I'm just as soon as we go back to the office, things will change. It's like because I can be here, literally at this desk all day. And there's no other reason for me to do anything else. So I just sit here and I'll fucking work constantly. If you're at home doing that, don't do that. It's gonna fuck you up. Believe me, don't do it.
You can
But,
get back to hanging out with your
whatever.
black lesbian friend.
She's the best. Seriously. God, she's awesome. Anyway,
Maybe one day I'll meet her. How fucking A. It's so bizarre. You think about, all right, when will we resume you coming back here? So that's like one step. But then like me
summertime, I
meeting a friend of yours at a bar to have a drink is like fucking beyond the horizon,
eons. Yeah. Yeah, we're very far away from that. I don't know. That's a tough one, man. Like, I think summertime, things are going to die down because you're going to have the heat and then Trump's favorite disinfectant, UV rays, a.k.a. sunshine. That'll come back and maybe things will slow down a little bit for us. But people need to actually go outside, too, for that to have an effect.
Well, the handful of optimists who say there is a possibility that this could be SARS-1 and just totally go away, how fucking great would that be?
I don't know that it will, right?
No, I don't know that it will either.
That will be great. Sorry, you're right. I didn't answer your question.
Yeah.
That would be great.
It is
Yeah.
possible,
Because
right?
it's just
I mean,
stupid.
anything's possible.
If you had to bet right now, you had to bet $100 on if you've had it or not, what would you say?
I think I've had it.
Like, did you get sick in February? Huh?
Do you remember when I didn't want
So you
people
think you've
coming in
had
the house?
Yeah.
My mom and Brian were coming over, and I was staying 20 feet away from them because I had the chills.
So you think you?
I had the chills for like a week or two, and I thought I had an internal infection. Because do you remember when I told you I had an infection a long time ago and I was on IV
I remember when
antibiotics?
you said you had. I remember. Yeah, but. Oh, that was when you had to go to your doctor and actually get hooked up, right? That's why you couldn't do it at home, the treatment?
Yeah. So I went to an outpatient IV antibiotic clinic. And the only symptoms I had were like terrible, terrible, terrible chills. I tested positive for
Oh, it's
having
the
this
worst,
bacteria
though.
in my system. And I went to an infectious disease
HIV
guy.
positive.
And yeah. And he said, you have no symptoms. He said, so I don't want to. He said, this is a serious germ, but if you don't have any symptoms, your system's fighting it and fighting it effectively and successfully until in my experience, you show symptoms. And then like a week later, I didn't have a fever or anything, and I had just the most terrible fucking chills. So I was worried that I had another infection because I had terrible, terrible, terrible chills. So I went to the doctor, and I made him do a blood test. Did I tell you this whole story?
You didn't tell me that made him do a blood test thing. I think I'm lagging, by the way. If it seems like I'm very slow, I think I'm getting some lag, but whatever. Go ahead.
I'm not experiencing it on mine. But anyway.
Okay, never mind.
So I had chills for weeks, and then I had that crazy-ass intense sore throat, and my glands were like totally fucking swollen and painful. And is that a thermometer?
Yeah, it's on my desk. I've been doing it a lot. My headset just went out.
And, this, like, it was in my throat and in my nasal cavity, and it really, really hung on for a long time. And I had serious chills during part of that. And it lines up with some of the symptoms. I wouldn't bet. I'm superstitious. But if I had to guess, just total guess, I'd guess I had it. And I'm starting to wonder how many people maybe had it. How many fucking people might have had it?
Because they're saying that they found cases in the United States of people who died from coronavirus in February. And I was still going to the office every day in February. I was still coming to your house in February. Right?
Yeah.
So I remember, like, my birthday, February 8th, I remember that. Like, we went to the bar, I did all that shit. And then I went to this disgusting-ass bowling alley. That was another thing. And I, was sure that I was sick after I went to this bowling alley. I was, positive sick. And it was same. I was having, fucking major back pains, too, coughing. But I didn't end up going, wasn't that bad. So what I'm thinking is happening is that a ton of people have had that shit already. And maybe it's either evolving and getting worse, or look at me like I'm a fucking doctor. Don't listen to me, folks, again. This is all stupid. But
well, you're allowed to apply
a
common sense argument to something that's maybe.
I think a ton of people have had it.
There was a guy who in the office across from me who in maybe late January, early February, that guy was coughing up a lung for a week and a half. He stayed home. He stayed home for a few days because he felt so awful.
I had a few days in February and then a couple days in March where I was like, I'm fucking going home. And then March 10th or whatever it was, they were like, get the fuck out. I think it might have been March 16th. They told us to go home.
I'm kind of surprised that
Friday.
the critical care place I went there because it's the same office that my doctor, my general practitioner, practices out of, so they share files. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't called me. Said, hey, I want to talk about this. Because that was
so
probably
so much other shit going on.
That was late February, early March, where I had the chills so bad I went to critical care and demanded a blood test.
So what did the blood test show?
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
But I was worried I had an internal infection because my blood pressure was low and my temperature was low, which are symptoms of sepsis, which will kill you.
Yeah, dead. Right.
It's funny. She's I'm not testing you.
Yeah.
I thought I told you this. She said, I'm not testing you. And I said, why? She said, because you don't have a temperature and
overreacting.
And your blood pressure's fine and your pulse ox is fine. I said, look, I'm telling you for the second or third time that I had a bladder infection that required IV antibiotics, and the only symptoms I had were the chills that wouldn't go away. And she's like, I can't justify it. And as she's turning to go out the door, I said to her, look, I'm here for a reason. And if something goes wrong with me, If I'm sick, I am holding you personally accountable. And she turned right around and she gave me a blood test.
She's like, all right, fuck. You're like, you're like, if I'm
I had to
sick and I'm
scare
dying
her.
on my deathbed.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to scare her into doing the right thing.
You should, you should have been
I'm
like,
like, what do you
I'm
fucking care?
sick-
I'm paying for it. I have high deductible
yeah, what do you
insurance.
care?
It's
At
my
the end of
money.
the day, what the fuck?
It's my money. I want to.
Yeah.
I'm here to make sure I'm not really
It's
really
also
sick.
my blood, right? It's not like it's some other guy's blood, right? At the end of the day, it's not like I'm having the government pay, right? And what there's some fucking regulation about that, about the government saying you can do things like that if if you can justify them. So there's some kind of a lien on that, but otherwise they don't want you sapping the resources. So it's like the thing that I don't get about that is that blood test kit is already in that office the day that you use it. So it's like, unless there's a fucking crisis and that
Yeah, there was a machine. They have
office
their
is
own
like
machine.
ground zero.
They have
Right.
their.
The shit is there, yeah.
It was a Sunday afternoon. There was nobody there. The
You're like,
machine
"Fucking
was
do
just
it."
sitting there. Right? Take my money. Fucking take my money. I just want to make sure that I don't have this really fucking big problem. And, 3 days or 3 weeks from now, I'm on fucking dialysis.
Yeah. They tested me. I went in middle of February. Let's say February 20th. I was sick, and I was sick enough that I was gonna leave work. It was that bad that I was like, I would have left work had my boss not been out of the office, and it was like his boss was kind of filling in, so it was like I would have had to ask the more senior guy to let me go home, and I was just like you. It was like fucking chills. I was dying, and I was like, fuck, I just need to like leave. So I waited. 7:01 or 8:01 or whatever the fuck it was, time rolls by, and I was like, I'm gone. Do you need anything from me? Peace. I drove right to an urgent care. And then with that, let's see what the fuck. She tested me for strep and flu. I was negative for both. And she just sent me home with a fucking cough suppressant. And then that was it.
And you had a bad cough
Could've
and
been-
really, really, really bad chills?
Fuck yeah. Yeah. She sent me with a cough suppressant. I was so sick, I didn't even get the medicine. I just fucking went home.
And just like,
And I like slept on the couch.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows, man? That, yeah.
It was interesting. But I don't know.
You
It's
had
funny, we just
something.
got right into the virus shit.
You had something.
was not
she
flu or
didn't know what
strep.
it was.
It was Kung Flu.
Right, whatever. Whatever. Anyway.
all I got out of that story is that we're invincible.
I'm I'm superstitious. Gotta be careful.
That's all right.
Nobody's
knock on-
bulletproof.
There you go. I just knocked on wood for you.
Yeah,
Um,
I did it here. Nobody's bulletproof. Shit breaks.
Anyway.
Like necks.
Oh, yeah. It's a rough one.
Yeah.
That's a rough one when it breaks.
It's looking very springy
didn't
out. I
post
know
that,
it's cold
but-
as shit, but I'm looking out the window. It's rainy, but it's very bloomy. It
Yeah,
looks
we're
very
looking-
springy. Do you have a window in that
Very
in
much
your
is.
in the room you're in?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Hey, what's
I would show
what's-
you guys
what's
out the
behind
window,
you?
but it's
Do
dirty.
you put tinfoil over that picture? What's behind you?
No. You didn't notice my photo?
The light shining on it. It
That's
just
the picture.
that you've been talking about.
Yeah. Can't cover it up. Sorry.
Oh, all
Yeah,
I can
that's the
see is a
picture.
reflection of the ceiling fan.
Hang on.
Da 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 na 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 na. No 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 no
It was the
no no
lamp
no
to the ceiling fan.
ba da ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba da ba ba ba
I'm
da
back.
ba da ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba. It looks like a mirror in a lamp.
What?
I can see
It's JFK International.
Oh, okay. It's hard to tell.
That's an original. This is an original creation of it too. It's not a painting. This is like I don't know what you fucking call it. Like paper is layered on top of it. Like my grandpa made that.
like a
He was an
lithograph.
architect on the project. I don't fucking know. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I have no
Says
idea.
the grandson of the architect. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Hey, Grandpa, what is this? And
He
the
also
minute he
worked-
starts explaining, you're like, la la la.
I wonder if that was concrete. Wow, what a weird word. Yeah. What? Sorry, lithograph. What? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they had to do continuous pour. That's all I remember about that story, because it was so of a weird shape. And now it's torn down. It's gone. So, whatever.
Huh.
But that's an original. Yeah, artist rendering.
That's cool.
Cool.
Cool
I thought it would be
is.
bigger. You know, on the camera, but it's,
You need some wood cabinets and some trinkets
I have a wood cabinet right here.
and some ginger ale.
And a ginger. I got to turn this light back on. This is bugging me.
No. Sorry. Okay. In Charlie's absence, wow, that's bright. Oh, he's back. I was trying to say something funny and
talking shit?
insightful in the 15 seconds you were gone. I couldn't come up with anything.
It wasn't even that long. Yeah. So, life's good. Got a little bit of a fuzz going on right now. Jeez, I should go get things checked out. No.
All right. What time is it?
6:50 in
Six?
the PM.
We're at about an hour more than an hour maybe.
I think we're over. Yeah.
All right. Shall we call it?
Sure. But
Oh, the
you
eight
didn't do your
ball.
thing.
The eight ball.
Ask it if we
Is-
already had coronavirus.
I'm not doing that.
Just kidding.
Is
Don't do
Gretchen Whitmer going to be Joe Biden's running mate?
Whoa. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Concentrate and ask again. Oh, I didn't even ask it a question. Okay, so it can't hear you through the thing, so I got to ask it through
Okay.
you. Okay.
What do you know?
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so is Gretchen Whitmer going to be Joe Biden's running mate? Most likely.
Most likely.
If that doesn't give you
Interesting.
chills.
You know, never doubt the eight ball.
That was creepy because I didn't ask it a question and it wouldn't have known that anybody was asking it.
It's an interesting
can't
answer
hear
to
through the
that
headphones.
particular question. Never doubt the eight ball.
It said concentrate and ask again, and then it said most likely.
Right?
That was cool. Thank you, 8 Ball. So Gretchen Whitmer is going to be the VP. I don't really like that idea.
It's just likely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know why it's a bad idea? Because there's a decent chance she's going to run the fucking country.
Oh my God, could you imagine some fuck up? Hi, I'm Governor Whitmer. We should do a gas tax. Has there ever been a president from Michigan? No.
Well, Gerald Ford went to University of Michigan. I think he grew up in Grand Rapids.
Doesn't count. Oh, really?
You gonna Wikipedia it?
President. Yeah. Just no. Google. I'm gonna Google it. This show's sponsored by Google. Presidents. Sorry. This will end out the show. I know this is super interesting for our viewers
No, it's all right.
from Michigan.
He definitely went to U of M, and I think he grew up in Grand Rapids. We shall see. But he doesn't count because he didn't win
Gerald
an
Ford.
election.
He's the only one.
Does he count?
Gerald Ford.
You said president. You didn't say
Yeah, he does.
elected. He's got to
No,
count.
president is. You're president. You're president.
Okay. All right. I'm going
Well, there's
to.
a bunch of guys from Ohio.
Really?
Masturbate.
Man,
No,
Where'd
you.
that come from? The fuck is I
I
do
just
with
like
that?
putting words in your mouth.
Okay, whatever, man.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Gonna move some music in. This was the most fun and frolicky one we have done in some time.
Life's
All
good,
right.
man. You gotta stay positive.
I am going to fade me out and give you the last word.
My show, baby. Yeah, look at that.
Later
Just
on.
8 Ball with Charlie. That's it.